Hey guys, welcome back. This is Thorm and this is episode 103 of my single player Tiveden world. Hope you guys are going awesomely well. So it's been a couple of weeks again in between episodes. What is going on, you might ask? But I managed to get myself sick again in between episodes here. It's pretty crazy, but I think I'm okay now. So we are going to jump straight into this episode and try and get through it and get this out for you guys. So thanks for sticking around and being patient with me. And if you want to know what's going on if I'm not posting stuff, just check out my Twitter. I usually tell you guys what's happening on my Twitter. So, alrighty, so let's just jump into this card, and I'm going to show you guys an area that I was working on at the start of this episode. That's just down in here. We've got this little area that's kind of like a ravine for the Nether. Looking at different blocks exposed, and got a few building materials and just that kind of Nether setup, I guess, in there. And then the track comes up, bends around, and goes into this building. And I think that's a pretty cool way to hook up that portal room that we've got for the igloo village going into this portal building for the snowy village. And I think, yeah, I think that looks okay. And I do like how the minecart comes up through this wall. You can't really see where it goes, but the minecart comes up and then bends around and rests just here. Now we can continue on by using this button and continuing on this way through this wall. But before we do that, I wanted to show you guys this upstairs area. This is something that I had worked on since the last episode. Looks like we got ourselves a visitor. How you going, buddy? Enjoying your new house? Or your new interior at least? And yeah, it's pretty standard kind of setup for an interior. These are the kind of usual stuff that you'll see me build and work with. And I don't mind that mobs can spawn in here. We do have some flat areas that mobs can spawn. Guess I could put in a carpet or something just here to minimize spawn or reduce spawn for mobs, but it's not too bad. And I also put in this this double door setup here. So this is just doing, I thought, why not? Let's try and prevent ourselves getting blown up by a gas fireball or something that will come in through this door. So that's why I've hooked this up here. Okay, so let's just go down into this cart and jump on in and continue on our journey here. And I wanted to show you guys this little setup. So we come through this wall, the cart will come up, and then it will come along this little track. So we've got this branch off from the main rail track here. And then this is where the minecart goes. At the moment it doesn't go any further than this, but I've got an idea, and that is I wanted to have a bit of fun with minecarts and using rails and all the trickeries and all the fun stuff you can do with minecarts and rails. I haven't really done a whole lot of that, particularly in my survival world here. I've done like little tutorials every now and then, but in terms of using it in survival, hey, let's have a bit of fun. So that's what we're going to go with. So as you can see, the minecart comes along, and then it currently goes and rests just here, just for a little bit, and then it continues on. So I'm going to have a sign here that basically says something like, use this track at your own risk. And we're going to have this minecart travel through the Nether here, doing some twists and turns, having a bit of fun. And I think we could do some crazy things with the minecart. So first of all, let's talk about this setup here. So we've got this detector rail. This sends a redstone pulse down onto this redstone here. Then we've got this pulse extender, just using the comparator trick with going the opposite directions. I think you guys have all seen this before. This has a decaying strength of redstone, and then that basically toggles this redstone torch on and off. And that's why we can have this set up. So when it comes over, when the minecart comes over this detector rail, this turns off just for a little bit, and then it gets powered again, and off goes the minecart. So I think we're going to have a bit of fun with minecarts in this episode, try out a few different things. I do have a test world for minecarts where I try out different contraptions, so I'm going to jump into that and show you guys a few setups that I might try and use along this Nether track here. So here we are in my test world, and this is a whole lot of contraptions that I've tried out over the years, seeing what works and seeing what doesn't in the game. Sometimes different updates of the game can break different contraptions, so it's good to have a little test world like this where you can experiment to see what's still working and what isn't. Like for example here with using the trick with using the different end blocks here. So here the only block that really makes a difference is using the soul sand, and you can see that it makes the minecart glide a little bit on the end, and you can see it goes a little bit faster because of that. So these are little contraptions that you need to test every now and then to see what's working in the game, and so something like that is something I'll probably use in my world, in my survival world. But other little ideas that I think we could experiment with is maybe use one of these kind of launch pad setups. So this is where we've got a minecart that can get basically pushed up and can clear some blocks using a slime block. So this could be something that we could experiment with, and maybe rather than using like a nice decorative increase or a wall that we're jumping over, we could have like a wall of lava or something like that. I think that could suit the Nether, And yeah, I think that could be a bit of fun. And what else we could do? We could probably work with some of these contraptions down this other end. I don't think we'll do anything with the activator rails necessarily, but if we wanted to, we could try out a few things here. But over here, this is where a few little setups that I could probably use along this track system we're creating. One area here is this little setup. This is a simple setup where you can actually send a minecart over a solid block here. So if I just do that, you can see that the cart's just going directly over that. There's no trickery here. It's just something that you've got with minecarts. If they're going fast enough, they can clear over a single block like this. Now I can even remove this, and you can see it will still jump over that. So that's a little trick we can do with minecarts that I might try and use. This is a setup as well that hasn't been patched in the game. It's been in the game for many years now, in fact, and I don't really see a whole lot of people using them. Basically, it's based on the concept that this is a solid wall, and the minecart is going directly through that, and it works by having this little kink in the rail system here. So it's on a corner, and if we dig this out, you can see there's actually nothing here. It's going directly over a block, and it's also going through the wall if I put this block back. And that's just based on this little trick you've got with a corner and how the minecart treats corners. And yeah, this is a simple setup that we could probably use in our world. And maybe we could also do something like this. This is where you can move a track using pistons. So let's try this out and see what happens. You can see that the minecart gets moved over onto this opposite track here, and then it bends around again. And yeah, I think this could create some little tricks that we've got with minecarts. Maybe a few of these kind of contraptions along this path that we're creating in our world could be a bit of fun to play with. So I think to get started here, what I'm going to do is make a jumping pad right off the bat here. So we're going to create a sticky piston kind of launcher and make the player go into the wall up here somewhere. So to do that, we're going to just extend this powered rail system down here so we get maximum speed, come over this detector rail. Now I am using a soul sand block here. This is just going to help get the minecart to glide a little bit. And if I remember correctly, I should be able to... What do I need? Give me some of these blocks. Put this down here, get some of this, put that there. Now I have to stick in a piston here. So let's get one of these. Where does it have to be? I think it's about here somewhere. So if we went about here, throw this away, grab a slime block. I think that's right. So we just need to hook up these two blocks here with a repeater. Let's just put down, in fact, let's just be safe, just to be sure. Just because I like not falling through into lava or something like that, let's put down a solid block, just so it's a little bit harder to break, and put down a repeater. There we go. Let's give this a test. Let's see what happens here. So let's grab our minecart. There it is there. And let's see if this thing works. So I'm going to come along. This will pause for just a little bit because I'm running slow. Full speed. And there we go. This is where we get launched. So I don't actually quite make it into the wall, I don't think. So that could be a problem. And now for testing, because it's pretty hard to do this on single player when you want to know where a minecart's going to go. So I think I need to actually make this a minecart with chest. You can see that it says that. So I'm going to create myself a chest, make this a minecart with chest, and then that will basically simulate the speed and characteristics of a player riding the minecart. So here we go. I'm going to try this thing out with a minecart with chest. I did move this back a couple of blocks or closer to this wall. And I've also dug in a little hole and put in this lava here. So if it doesn't make it, it's going to fall into that lava. So let's give this a go. Let it run on and sit on this here. It's going to pause, come across. Yeah, perfect. Look how close it is to the lava. So that's going to be alright, I think. So this is the kind of idea that I'm going to play with, where it's a little bit dangerous. So if a contraption like this fails, we're probably going to land in this lava. So I think that adds a little bit of risk to this kind of track. I don't think I also mentioned why I'm creating this track in here to begin with. And that's because I want to create a minecart track that goes to the Nether, or not the Nether, but to the Mezza, I should say. We do have a Mezza near here that I wanted to create a portal to. And I also want to create myself a gold mine in the Mezza. So, hey, why not show you guys where that Mezza is? So let's jump on this horse. I did bring this horse over. And I can just show you how you can ride the horse through this little contraption as well. So let's come on through. And it's actually a lot closer than I was expecting. I actually thought I had to go further in this direction to get to the Mezza, but I was exploring around in the overworld, And the Nether is right through here. It kind of lines up nicely with this other portal. So if I just jump over this fence and just show you guys, I did dig in to create myself a portal. So here we go. This is where I've made this little portal here, and this is going to take me right into the Nether. So let's just jump on through. And it takes us on top of the Nether plateau. So that's a nice height, and I think it'd be a good, nice little spot to do some kind of, I don't know, it's like a caving area or a mining area for basically creating or basically harvesting our stained clay here. So that could be pretty interesting. So what we could also do is have a portal lower than this, and this is where we could harvest gold, because in the Nether you do get an increase in gold spawns. So that's something I think we could tap into as well. So that's the whole idea, is I'll have this minecart track that will either hook up to this portal or make it go down towards where we'll have another portal for the gold farm. So after we've made this first jump, we're going to come across and try and jump over these flames. So let's just try this out. Let's jump into a cart and hopefully we don't get burned alive. No, we don't. Perfect. So yeah, that's a nice little trick as well, I think. Fire in the hole. Let's get out of here. Whoops, we've got lava. Ah, there we go. That's going to make a nice little entrance. So for this section of the track, we're going to do a little switcheroo with the rails, and what I mean by that is we're going to have the minecart come flying down this slope here with the powered rails, and then it's going to come over this detector rail, and that's going to set off this redstone, creating a little short pulse. And in fact, let's show you guys. So the minecart will come over, that will push out this block and get retracted because we're using sticky pistons here, and that's going to push this rail over one block. Now I've got this little side track here as well, but you can't really see it when you're on this side. You can see it with the track over here obviously, but you can't see the downwards track. And that the view is, as the minecart will come down this way, it will come over this. In fact, there we go. It will come over this detector rail. That will activate this sticky piston, pushing this block and moving the rail back into its original place. So I think that's going to work okay. So let's just take a look and make sure everything's all okay. I think it's okay. And if you haven't seen a contraption like this, this is just using the trick with the comparator and a 2-tick delay on the repeater here. Now I did put in a repeater down here on a 3-tick delay because I think I need to delay a little bit from the minecart crossing over this and for the minecart to reach to this point. So let's give this a go. Let's jump into the minecart. So we'll come up the top here and give this a go. Jump in, come around. Aha! And just like that, the player and the minecart gets pushed off this rail and you can't really see it. So I think that looks good. It kind of looks like this goes straight. There's no obvious thing that, in fact, you won't really know what this detector rail will do. And we could even replace that using like a tripwire or something where it'd be completely visible to the player. But oh yeah, I think that could look pretty interesting, particularly if we've got like a wall of lava or something down the end here. Alrighty, so I have been working on this rail system for a little while now, adding in some details, and I think it looks good. And I've also just put in a carpet up here. I think it adds a bit of colour, and yeah, it will minimise the mob spawn area a little bit. That's mainly for a bit of colour. Anyway, so let's jump into this cart, and I want to show you guys what it looks like. I'm not going to explain it, I'm just going to ride it and let you guys experience it. Here we go. It's freaky. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Okay. Yes. So, as you can see, this rail system can fail. Oh no, there we go. There goes our rail, our minecart. Alrighty, so let's just try that again. This could not be any more accurate. Have a nice day. I think you gotta have a positive attitude when you ride this track because you just never know what's going to happen. So let's try that again. And this is kind of what I was half expecting, is that sometimes some of these things will fail. But here we go. Let's keep on going. So there we go, that's what I've done so far. I thought rather than continue on with this for the time being, I'm just going to add in all the details. So this is a little bit different to when you last saw it, and it's just more decorative, and it looks a little bit more menacing, I guess, with the lava down the end. And I do like how you can't even see this track. You've got to be right up close before you can start to see that track. So who knows what you're going to think if you're riding along in a minecart until the last second when you get pushed off. And then you come down this other branch, so I think that looks quite good actually. So I have put in this little stinky escape tunnel here for the time being while we're working on the construction. But you can see this area has all been done as well. We've got in some magma blocks as well, and just got a whole lot of this nether wart planted around the place. I think it looks good, and I do like how the lava comes in around the slime block here, and kind of just looks better, I think, than it was before. So sometimes just adding a bit of detail does pay off, and I do like how this rail system here sometimes can fail. So that's a bit of the danger that I really wanted, and but that's okay. I don't mind that. Normally it does work. I think that's the first time it's failed actually since I've been testing, but in fact if I write it again I'm sure it's going to work fine, so let's give that a go. And okay, I really want a nice day, so let's see what happens. Yep, it works. So we've got two of these holes that we're jumping over, and I just made this a fall down rather than a slope before. So there we go, that's the idea, and that's the kind of changes that I've made so far. I thought I'd just show you guys this little change that I've made to this rail setup. So this is where we come up from underneath and the track bends around and goes down this direction. Now when the track returns, now I'm not sure if a track or a minecart will be able to come back this way, but it can certainly come from this direction. And if I push this along, you would see the minecart will actually keep on going. So it's got a little momentum at the moment, but you can see it keeps going down. And this is just using this kind of bending logic that we've got going into a block. Now unfortunately, if you want to change directions and keep the minecart going downwards further, you can't have a block underneath this one here. So here I could put in a solid block or something like that, but I have to have the block behind it completely empty. So that's why I've just gone with a slab here, and this is going to allow enough space for the minecart, even with a player in it, to come down and go down down this little slope here. And that's okay, I don't mind that. So we just redecorated the upstairs, this area here as well, just using some of the glass on top of the nether rack, or the nether brick. And yeah, this little bend, it kind of looks strange, but it does work. So the minecarts can still come up, bend around and continue on to go down this direction, and they can also return coming from this direction, and then go down. And this little zigzag here is only here just because I wanted this to be a corner block. So I'm just heading back towards the direction of our main island, and I thought I'd just address one of the questions left on the last video, and that was about mobs and whether or not we have a problem with the different nether mobs that can spawn and basically block our path riding along these rails. And the short answer is no, I don't have a problem with that, because I've got glass on either side of this rail system here, and we've got fences on both sides as well, so no mobs can spawn on the glass or on the rails, and they can't spawn on the fences. So there's a bit of gas down there. So let's bail here, and can I get this guy? He's pretty far away. Let's see what happens. Got him. Yeah, so we don't have any problems with mobs, because yeah, mobs won't spawn on any of these three blocks here, and as long as there's no open area where they can wander onto the track, and that's why we've got the fences on both sides, yeah, I'm pretty safe with mobs. Ghasts can spawn and shoot at us, and they will take out the glass, but that's okay. I don't mind that little bit of risk that you've got traveling in the nether. But here we go. I just wanted to show you guys this area as well, just on our way back. And that is, this is my nether farm. So this is where we've got the smoothed out area on top of one of these fortresses. And this is where I run around and basically kill all the nether types of mobs. And what I'm going to do is create myself a little staging area in here. This is where we can do some enchantments and store different things. I have another area that, that has all that kind of, basically a staging area that I haven't used for a while. It's down in here. This is like an old setup, so I'm going to leave this as is. I'm not going to fix this up. Rather, I'm going to seal that off and kind of store it for the archives, and then we're going to work on this area and make it all nice and new. So the plan is that the minecarts will come from the main village, come straight on, so it won't turn off to the right here. The minecart will continue on down here, and then we'll have a little staging area for the player and have a lot of storage and that kind of fun stuff. Then we'll have an offshoot here for the minecart, and that will come along this direction. And what will happen, because we've got this detector rail, well, it's going to actually turn the track here. So that's going to make the minecart go this direction, continue on in this path. And when I'm coming backwards, because of the shape of this this track, you can see that it's going to continue going straight. So that's the plan, and that's the kind of setup I've got for the minecart and the rails going back to the main village. So I'm going to have the minecart stop along the way at all my different main attractions going in this direction, but when I want to come back and go back towards the main island, I'm going to have it an express route. So there's not going to be any stops. I can just jump into a minecart and we'll go all the way back to the main island. And these kind of setups will allow me to do that. So the minecart will continue on. It's going to bypass this little staging area, and this will go around and continue on down in this way. So if I just jump in the cart, you can see what's going to happen. We'll continue on, bend around this corner, and just because of the direction of the rails here, this is going to turn to the left, and we'll continue on back to the main island. It's nice to be back into our main island here, and it's also good to be in some brightness. Sometimes working in the Nether can be a bit depressing with all that doom and gloom look of the orange and red that you've got all day, but here we go. I thought I'd just quickly touch on this. This is another minecart setup that we had just looked at a few episodes ago, and I haven't forgotten about this. This is where we're going to create our fireworks little setup. So we'll have a minecart with chests. Oh, I've got some power rails, I'll take those. And this is going to deliver some fireworks to a dispenser setup, and these will shoot off fireworks. So I've laid out here in the ocean some glowstone, and this is probably where I'm going to have the dispensers. I think there's a nice spacing set up there. Don't want to have too many, and I think this would be a nice spot for shooting off the fireworks. And I think I'm going to go with this contraption. I think one thing I will change though is rather than having it to be automatic, so whenever there's any fireworks in this system that they start to get dispensed, what I think I will do is I'll change that so it's going to be activated by redstone. So maybe I'll have a lever or something somewhere near here on this platform, and that means we can toggle this to turn on and off whenever we want. So rather than it being fully automatic, we'll just basically toggle this so we can see the fireworks whenever we choose to do so. So I couldn't end the episode here without doing a little favor for one of my new donators. So it's not something that I'm actively asking for or that I'm really wanting from you guys, but I have to show my appreciation for those that do choose to donate. Everything that gets donated to me does go straight towards improving my channel, and currently that means hopefully buying a new computer at some point. So how you going, chicken? You're risking your life right on that edge. So I need to basically create myself a nicer place to store all these, but for now this is where I'm putting them. So we've got my very first donated block just here. Now the type of block actually has no meaning based on the donation, but I wanted to keep a record of who has kindly donated to me. So let me know if you don't like your name displayed here or you want a different name displayed. I basically want to respect the privacy of anyone who chooses to donate, and again, I'm definitely not asking for anyone to reach out and donate, but anything that is donated to me is highly appreciative because I wanted to put it to good use. So I wanted to say thank you again, and thanks for the donation. It's certainly made my week, particularly when I was off sick. It was nothing better than having something cheer you up, so that was pretty nice of you. So there we go, I'm going to call it an episode here. So a little bit of Minecart Trickery. I'm probably going to work on that track system in between the episodes here, so I won't bore you guys with all the details, but I'll show you guys the end result, and I think that should turn out quite nicely for us. Then we just need to basically hook up those portals, one to a gold farm setup, and the other to that mezza farming area as well for the hardened clay. Because I think I might upgrade to the new snapshots or to the new version of Minecraft in the next episode. That could be a bit of fun to play around with some of the terracotta pots or terracotta blocks that we've got, all the different colors. And I think it's called the color update or something like that, the next version of Minecraft. Who knows? I can never really tell. But yeah, I'm going to probably play around with that a little bit in the next episode. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thanks, guys. Cheers.